Inge, you can assist before the meeting. Anyway, good afternoon. Thank you very much, Director of City. It's really an opportunity for me to stand here and unpack some of the issues so that it can inform our discussion going forward. And I'm very happy that there are a few MPs, there is also governors, so that they can understand. Sometimes when we are dealing with these issues, not mean that we hate Namibia, but we just want better Namibia. And while they are busy with that one, I want to just highlight 2 points that have drawn my attention. The one is the one from a comment from Zambia. We talk about that there is a tendency when someone calls you in the hall, talk whatever he or she talking, and then later on, they go and do whatever they want to do. By doing so, then they say that you are consulted. We have that typical example now with a bill that will be debated in Parliament, the education bill. Honorable, please, to do an honorable thing, refer the bill back if you want us to address inequality and quality education. The other one is the one that also referred to the decommodifications. You know, the previous speaker spoke nicely, outlined all those kind of things. But there is only one program that one could say, this program is a universal and comprehensive, it's all age. All the rest, you have to pay a price. Price being whether you have to lose your mother, or you have to be a war veteran, or you have to lose your leg. What kind of social protection is that? So what I say is that what is the difference between a child born, but that child has both of the parents are alive, and they have no means of survival. That child and the one who lost one parent, what is the difference between? Now you see that the child and the mother connive and they start praying for the father to die so they can go to 250. So the programs that are there are completely inefficient. We go to the school feeding programs. Schools go for 2-3 months without receiving those bags of food. Teachers have to go and collect the money for the program too. And the last one, before I come to my point, is I also feel it annoyed when a government official or a minister standing here says that, no, the problem is the bureaucratic, is what, but who should change it? If you are the one who is trusted by the Namibian people to change the system, make the system efficient, effective, responsive, and you are the one crying with us. So I want to thank you very much for that. Where do I go here? Okay, that's fine. I brought this one. Okay, I'm running very fast. Okay, anyway, I brought this one for us to understand because many people have been understanding. You talk about informal sectors, we are referring to Havana and what. Not knowing that the workers that are working in ShopRite are also informal. Although ShopRite is a formal company. And that's why I brought with me a Secretary General from the union organizing also United Workers. So that component is very important for us to understand. That we have informal workers in formal companies. Now let's look at that one. That is according to the labor force survey. Of course, down the total employed is 66%. The previous speaker have highlighted it. Of the 66% of employed, 66.5 are in the informal sector. 66.5 of the 66% employed are in the informal sector. And look there, in most cases, the rural, the urban, the highest number is informal. Rural, the highest number is also informal. So the formal in rural might only be the government officials. The Ministry of Health, the Ministry of what? They might only be that group. Now, of that group, of the 66% of the 66%, we have 93.2 of paid within the 66.5. 93 are paid, meaning at the end, customer salary. Of this one, now 75.3%, they earn, in the informal sector, they earn less than 2,000 per month. I think that Dr. Cooper will not be, because some of these are from your paper. 75.3 of the 66.5 informal, they earn less than 2,000 per month. Now, we are all having pen. Can you take your pen and the booklet that we are given? Write the 2,000, that we're taking the maximum. The average price of renting a shack in Windhoek, a shack, this house's name, is 700. Write down. Then you write down also 288. That is for bread every day if your child goes to school. Then you go on for the taxi. I know that most of the poor one in Namibia, the kids are walking. So we leave the taxi out. We go to food. The average food that can take a poor family through is 800. How much is left? Now what is left is the one that we are thinking of. They should start contributing to social security. Can you see that? Contribute to social security and do other things. I haven't mentioned, I only mentioned food, I haven't mentioned even clothing and those kind of things. So that portion is the one that we have now to consider what contribution can make to social security. And then mind you, Dr. Mote is here, likely. She was a commission, part of the wage commissions on domestic workers. They produced that report, and that report lies in the Ministry of Labor 2 years without being discussed. One day I wrote a letter to them, I want to see the minister, and in my list there was the report of domestic workers. I miss Mr. Muya is around, he left. Normally when the minister comes and meet us, they bring the big guns. It's technocrats. And when we came at the topic, when we were discussing the minimum wage or the implementation of the report for the minimum wage of domestic workers, everybody on the other side, the ministry side, ran to their cell phone at the same time. Then I was wondering why. When I realized they were calculating their salary minus the minimum wage. How much they were left with. And then that report slides there because the people who take decisions, they were putting themselves first. If this 1,900 get from my salary, what would be left with? So the Ministry of had a problem. Now it went to cabinet. It was worse. Then it went to parliament. It was worse because everybody had to pass the decision. They were already affecting them, conflict of interest. Now imagine if this conference agrees that the employer and the employee must contribute to social security benefit. Because most of the decision makers, they own shebeens. Do you know that? Most of them, they have these family workers, whatsoever they are paid. Now, is this policy going to see the daylight? The answer is no. And then they will start laboring M.Kavihuha when we are saying that let's demand this minimum wage. So these kind of things are things that we are experienced with. Now, in 2014, TUCNA came up with this proposal. And this proposal is a chapter on informal economy. And we have identified 3 important responses. What we think as a labor movement we should advocate for. 1 is a regulation, 2 is a protection, 3 is a promotion. Now, what is the meaning of the regulation that we are referring to? What we are saying is that for the regulations, we need to promote or we need to enact appropriate regulations for both enterprises and employment that balance economic efficiency and social distributions. Of course, for enterprise, they'll be talking about, no, we need access to finances. We had SME Bank. Where is it? Haven't we, as a country, developed intervention there? We're unable to run it. And not because we have incompetent Namibians. We have competent Namibians, but they are wrongly used. Then we talk about the issues of protections, which is very important. We need to protect the workers. I was producing the labor aid the other time, just under the health and safety section. You know what it's saying? Only employment with more than 100 workers should have health and safety committee. In which business do we have, except Ramadan that is closed, that has so many workers? So even the people that were putting that law in place, they were super thinking in a different world. So we need to go to basic. Even in informal sector, where there is a shibini, where there is a jukebox, what are the health and safety hazards experienced there? This music that this person listens for the whole 24, it's 15 hours, I think, that the Kabashu workers working. What is happening to his or her eardrum? So we have many things that we need to unpack. And we talk about the promotions, which are indicated that we need to promote, so in the issues of marketing, access to capital, and many more. So, but these are detailed in the TUCNA proposals. So we don't just criticize, as some people think that 30 years to criticize. Not true. We produce reports, just create the dialogue. We will show you. The other one now, how are the informality distributed in the regions? You could see the regions, the two Kabangos or Musatis, they are the highest. Now I want you to keep this in mind. When we go to the next slides, we try also to bring it forth. Then we have another one now as per industry. You see the agriculture and forestry, fishing, they are the biggest. Which means that if we discount the informal sectors or informal employed people, we might have very small kind of margin. But that will never be possible because the policy makers are the farm owners as well. And they will never want a decent life where they can spend more from their pocket to make the life decent for that employee. So it's a challenge, but we need to fight. And we talk about the issues of retail, also featuring, manufacturing and featuring, and how do we deal with the situation? Of course, the ILO representative, the director, my old sister, I think she's around. Yes. But we are still waiting for the report on the study on minimum wage in Namibia. It's a year now. We want to debate this so that we see how do we go about it. So this is our distributions of people's employed as per the India Statistics Agency 2016. Then what is very important, I think that the previous speaker referred to that the informal is not captured within the revenue collections. And there is also a notion that I disputed when I was presenting making a presentation last week in Tanzania, where I said that notion to say that informal sectors are not paying tax is nonsense. Because when you are going to buy whatever you're going to sell at the Kapana, is there no VAT added to that? Huh? If a maize mill sold to a person who's going to do informal activities, the VAT is reduced. Isn't it? No. And who pays that VAT? Is that the same person for informal sector? So we should never look at one component and try to magnify it just to tarnish whatever we are tarnishing. No way. They are paying tax. And in fact, they are the most buyers. If you talk about informal sectors to brewery, they want to run out. But anyway, these are the statistics carried out. And that particular year is what is 2016. it recorded that the informal trading between the countries, it accounted to 20 million. But they were only carrying out that survey at selected border posts. Not all the border posts that we have here. And you could see fish. There is export and there is an import. What we can, so there is exchange. We export fish, there is it. Then percentage-wise. Then we also import vegetables on this side. You know that Namibia is a very dry country. So we want to be associated with Zimbabwe and Zambia and kind of Angola here. So we can have some vegetation. That's why we have many goats and whatsoever in Namibia. Because we cannot plant only during rainy season. Then we have territories. I mean, we have alcohol also coming in there, informally exported or imported also. Maybe that is on PK, those kind of thing, I don't know. Then clothing, beverages, tobacco, sugars, and the list goes on. Meaning that the informal activities are participating in cross-border trading. It is there. The only reason that it's not captured is because of the threshold created. And it's high time to talk to those institutions, Bank of Namibia and others, so that they can also start talking this topic. We can benefit from this if we are serious about it. Then who are these countries that we are mainly, trading with? You see, the import and the export. Export mainly is Angola, 82%. You should also understand. So the other person was making a joke during the land conference. But many people, you know that most people from the north were saying that no, we should not talk about ancestral land. But someone said, no, don't worry about that person. He was mentioning person X. That person, family is in Angola. You talk about ancestral land, it means that person must go back to Angola. They will not want to go. So the family's issues also in cross borders are playing a role. Maybe that movement of goods, where you buy to your family on the other side or bring to this side, it goes that way. Then we have Zambia. Zambians, they are buying a lot of fish informally to us. We have South Africa, Angola also topping the list here, South Africa becoming second this side, Zambia becoming third. Botswana is not featuring, Zimbabwe is not featuring because those borders, they were not part of the saving. Now I'm trying to bring this because we have always taken the other side. They cannot contribute, they cannot do whatsoever, but they can play a role in trading as well. They are doing it. But how do we now move forward to ensure that they are doing that is supposed to be done? To conclude, then I can engage in questions maybe later. I wanted to mention the issues, I think that, just to ask a simple question. How many us, the female colleagues of us that are here, that are willing to take maternity leave? Just raise your hand. Except I know that Olga will raise. But the rest, the female colleagues that are in this room that are passionately say that I am willing to take maternity leave for 3 months. No one except, I know that except Olga. Because Olga is obsessed with it. Why? And that is true. It is even in the GSM report that the breastfeeding in Namibia, that gap is increasing. Meaning that our female colleagues, even if we mention there is a part of social protection, who want to use it, even the presenter herself could not raise their hand. So we need to look at those formulas so that at least they can cover 100%, then we know that we are doing justice. For the colleagues, we are busy amending the labor act, paternity will come, but our paternity will be 100%.
Yes.